Hi, I'm back. I had a little interruption, literally a little interruption. My son was pestering me about playing a video game, so I'm going to make this fairly short. Yeah, because he wants a laptop to play a game. He's adorable and I love him to pieces. So, what was I saying? Okay, so I'm all for female empowerment. I'm all for women kicking ass and taking names. And that's good. That's wonderful. I think women shouldn't be less than men. I don't think that men should just be, shut up, bitch, and do what I ask you to do, kind of the deal. That kind of, you don't do what I want you to do, woman, I'm going to smack you around and blah, 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 that kind of nonsense. That is unacceptable. Women are not less than men at all, and men are not less than women. They are equals. That's just how I feel. Men and women are equals. That doesn't mean they're equal in everything. Let me explain that. They're equals as far as they're both human beings. They're both, deserving of the same kind of respect and dignity and everything else, but they're not the same biologically. And so, okay, so a guy picks up a 50-pound sack of flour, potatoes, it's usually no big. I mean, unless he has back problems, and then he could throw out his back or whatever, as long as he's a strong, healthy male, he can pick it up and no big. A woman picks up a 50-pound sack of potatoes. It's a little bit different. I'm not saying that there aren't some women that are big and strong, big girls that can do it, but it's a little bit different. There are certain professions that women are probably not best suited for. There's always an exception to the rule. Guys are usually better at sports, and, well, depending on the sport, there are women golfers, there are women surfers, there are women in just about every sport that there is, but there are some sports that are better suited to men. There are some, jobs, professions that are better suited to men. That's not to say that a woman can't do it, but there are certain jobs that are just better for men, Women have ovaries, they have vaginas, they have, whatever. Women, whether you like it or not, whether you ever plan to have children or not, part of being a woman is being a mother and having babies and shit, You can't, I mean, some women are just like, oh, I'm never having children and blah, 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 and I hate kids and babies gross me out and whatever. Okay, so don't, cut it, tie it up, whatever you have to do. I'm not even okay with people spaying or neutering animals. That's just me being an animal lover. I think that's cruel. I think it's wrong. I think the animals should decide. And since you can't talk to animals, really, how are you going to know what they're thinking? And a female dog or male dog, it doesn't matter. I think it's just cruel, and I'm not in agreement with that. My cat, he's going to be a male cat. He's going to go and have his lady friends because, I just think it's cruel. I had the option when I rescued him to spay or neuter him, what is it for guys? Neutering? Spaying? Spaying is for females, neutering is for guys. I don't know. Anyway, I had the option to go and have him fixed. But I didn't do that because to me it just didn't feel right. I think, obviously, the argument is, oh, with, overpopulation and blah, 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 and then you have homeless animals and, just living on the street. Well, you can make that same argument for people. Oh, we should just, have them fixed. So, some people, I have to agree. I mean, some people just, are not fit to be parents. They just should never reproduce because they're just messed up people, and they'll just, do serious damage to whatever children they have. But, I mean, it shouldn't be an arbitrary thing. People should be able to make that decision for themselves. And I think the same goes with animals. I don't think that most animals would choose to be fixed if they had the choice. I think, by the same token, women, you know, telling their guy, their husband or boyfriend or whatever, oh, you need to go get yourself fixed because I don't want to have any babies. No babies for me, you know? Kind of nonsense. You know, saying, okay, you're going to go get fixed. Well, no, bitch, if you don't want to have a baby, you go get yourself fixed. Don't make him go get fixed. What if you break up later on and he wants to have babies with his new girl, you know? That's not right. That's not fair and that's not right. If you don't want to have any babies, you know, go get yourself fixed. Don't make your guy get fixed. So, that's a shout out, you know, to that situation. I think it's wrong to spay and neuter animals against their will. That's not fair. That's not right. It's cruelty to animals. Part of that is just me being an animal lover and being a vegetarian and so forth. You know, I feel bad for animals. You know, the poor dog, he loses his manhood, and then what is he good for? You know what I mean? That's just fucked up. It really is. So, yeah, don't do that. It's sad. It's sick. And it's perverted. And, yeah. I'm going to get off my soapbox now and focus, but I'm totally against that. I know people have their reasons, you know, and, you know, societal ill or whatever, you know, you don't want homeless animals, you know, because overpopulation myths and bullshit I don't agree with. But by the same token, you know, in China they have forced population, and that's caused so much, you know, just diabolical evilness in society. Not only am I against abortion, I'm pro-life all the way. Yeah, pretty much. I'm pro-life all the way. And I know you know, I even say you shouldn't force your beliefs on other people, but I think that is one exception to the rule, because we're talking about human life. So people, animals, you shouldn't force them to reproduce or not to reproduce. And that's another topic. That's another topic that I'll probably segue into later on. But, you know, I don't know if you've heard of the Quiverful movement, but it's kind of the opposite of what they have going on in China. It's like, you need to have as many babies as you possibly can because the, you know, end of the world and zombie apocalypse and whatever, you know, you have to, you know, and a lot of it is a religious thing. Some are not religious. Some just want to populate. And, you know, whatever. That's a whole other topic. But I don't think you should force anyone to reproduce or not to reproduce. That is a personal decision I think should be made. And you could go into exceptions, you know, like Octomom or whatever, like she's just mooching off of society and blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with her having 14 kids if that's what she wants to do, but she needs to be able to take care of them and not just depend on the government to do it, not just depend on society to do it, you know. And then, too, she's a little bit of a turd and just, you know, doesn't seem to have much of a mind of her own, you know, or have the ability to really make wise decisions. So, I mean, on the one hand I agree, and on the other hand I kind of disagree. So I think it's everybody's decision to decide how many children they want to have. But if you're just having children and then depending on other people to raise those children, being a welfare queen or, you know, Octomom or, you know, whatever, then I think that's wrong. But anyway, so I think males need to take back their manhood, literally and figuratively. I think that women forcing their men to have children or not to have children, I think is sick and twisted. I think women having babies as a tool to manipulate their guy, having babies or not having babies as a way to manipulate their guy, is pretty sick and twisted. You know, we don't live back in the 50s. There's no need for shotgun weddings. And I think a lot of people nowadays still continue in that kind of thread of like trying to trick their guy into a relationship or marriage or whatever because of having a child. And that's not right. No. If you want to have a baby, be responsible for it. You're responsible for it. And there's this thing on TV, this TV show today called The Talk, and they were talking about Halle Berry and like child support and spousal support and the amount she was asking for her ex, or the amount her ex was asking for her in the way of child support was just like this ridiculous amount, and like way more than I make in a year's time for monthly support. You know, it's just, yeah, like $20,000 a month for child support, and like I'd be lucky if I get that much. You know, from, you know, just working a job, you know, and however much he's asking for a month's support. You know, I'd barely make that in a year, you know, working as a cashier or whatever, Avon lady cashier, whatever I work in. So it's ridiculous. But women do this all the time, and living up north, and this is nothing against people of a certain race, but there are people of a certain kind of race, and I won't name names, that tend to, you know, people of a certain race or income bracket tend to want to be, you know, what they call welfare queens, and take advantage of the system and have a bunch of baby daddies and, you know, just make their money off of child support, which is pretty messed up. I think sometimes women resort to that because they can't find the job that they need to support their children, and so they go out and have more babies by, you know, a baby daddy, and once they get pregnant or whatever, they leave the guy and then demand child support, and that's pretty messed up. By the same token, there's guys who, when they're married or whatever, they're trying to force a woman into having more children, you know, because she's a housewife, and they figure, well, you know, she can just stay home and take care of the kids and have all my babies. You know, so they try and, you know, she's like, I can only have 2 or 3 or 5, you know, and that's it, that's my limit, you know. They're trying to pressure her into having more children than she feels physically or otherwise is capable of taking care of. I don't think that that's right either. Children are a blessing, but they shouldn't be used as a way to manipulate people at all. Children should never be, even in like a divorce situation. A lot of times children are used as a tool, as a manipulation tool. So that's messed up. But back onto the subject, and I'm probably going to make a couple more videos on this topic because I'm getting long-winded and getting off topic. But anyway, I'll be right back with another video. But men a lot of times are manipulated by women in various ways and for various reasons, and I think it's messed up. I think men need to take a stand for their manhood, and not in a kind of macho, chauvinistic way, but they just need to step up. And I'll be right back.